Vanessa broke up with me 1 minute ago, and she's already gone Instagram official with the scholarship kid. She said Caleb has depression, and once she helps him become as sunny and cheerful as I am, she'll get back together with me. Caleb used her phone to mark his territory, texting me, "Thanks for taking care of my girl all this time. You should keep your distance from now on." I laughed out loud. It took exactly 30 seconds to get my dad to cut off his funding. After my dad told the school he was stopping Caleb's scholarship, he immediately notified Vanessa's mother. The engagement between our families was off. At the same time, Caleb's best friend sent me a video of Vanessa and Caleb getting hot and heavy. In the video, Vanessa, completely wasted, wrapped her arms around Caleb's neck and kissed him while Caleb's face turned bright red. Someone in the background, clearly loving the drama, shouted out, "Vanessa, aren't you afraid Jared is going to be upset?" Vanessa cupped Caleb's face, licking his lips with zero shame. "It's fine. Him? He's easy to handle. We grew up together. Don't I know him? He's so annoying, always taking first place on exams so Caleb can't get the merit scholarship. I'm just teaching him a lesson." I let out a cold laugh. So that's what she really thought of me. Vanessa continued, "Besides, I'm bored of him. That goody two-shoes is so stiff. He won't even let me touch his hand. It's so boring. The thought of getting engaged and being tied to him after graduation makes me physically ill." Vanessa made a disgusted face. Caleb quickly pulled her into his arms. "I won't be like him. You can touch me however you want, babe. But only you." Vanessa laughed loudly, tightening her arm around Caleb's waist. "I like guys with a bit of edge like Caleb. Whoever wants a guy like Jared can have him. I certainly don't." I could barely suppress the nausea rising in my throat. Suddenly, a cool, crisp voice cut through the noise in the video. "I'll take him, then." It was Vivian, the class president who had tied with me for first place for years. Vanessa's expression instantly turned sour. Caleb blinked innocently and tugged on her hand. Vanessa scoffed weirdly. "Go ahead. But he's been obsessed with me for over 10 years. He's practically died for me a dozen times. I'm sick of him. He's a real loyal dog, guarding his virtue for me." Vivian laughed, though the meaning was unclear. She picked up her blazer, revealing a pale, slender wrist adorned with a delicate designer watch. "Let's go." Her gaze swept over Vanessa and Caleb clinging to each other, looking slightly repulsed. "Vanessa, remember what you just said. Don't regret it later, because I won't be giving him back." Vanessa looked annoyed. The lust Caleb had stirred up in her eyes completely gone. "I told you Jared loves me to death. I just have to snap my fingers and he'll come running back." Caleb's eyes instantly reddened, and Vanessa quickly added, "But I'm happy to let you play with him for a bit. He's just a simp. I have plenty of them." As soon as she said that, her friends exploded with laughter. Vanessa isn't wrong. Jared is totally a simp. Every time we hang out, he's the one rushing to pay the bill, dragging boxes of snacks along like a puppy. The video ended there. The last thing I saw was Vivian throwing a cushion at Vanessa's blurry figure. While I was dazed, my phone vibrated. It was a message from Caleb's friend. "You must be sad and angry. My advice? Give up on Vanessa early. Girls just think simps like you are cheap. Vivian seems to like you. You're both nerds. It's a good match." I suspected this was actually Caleb using his friend's phone, because he did this kind of thing often. He used to love replying to my messages using Vanessa's phone. Sometimes he would deliberately send ambiguous texts to make Vanessa and me fight, just so he could fake being sick and get Vanessa to go comfort him. But none of that mattered to me anymore. I was a very rational person. If a woman belongs to the streets, let her stay there. I also thought Vivian and I were a great match, whether it was brains or family background. "Why aren't you replying, Jared? Did you die of anger?" I was okay. I had been angry at first. I should have been furious, because my family is wealthy, truly wealthy. I didn't have the freedom to just date anyone. I could only choose a future spouse from families of equal status. But I wasn't exactly a male model, especially compared to other rich kids with similar backgrounds. Honestly, the competition was brutal. Vanessa was, visually speaking, one of the best options available to me. But, compared to Vivian, there was absolutely no contest. Vivian was prettier, had more class, and had better grades. She was the total package. Now that I had a better option, what was there to be sad about? The only reason to be sad is if you missed out on the best dish. After I showed my dad the video Caleb's friend sent, he was furious and wanted to storm over to the White House to cause a scene. But I stopped him. I pointed at Vivian in the video, my eyes lighting up. I like her. My dad was silent for a moment, looking at my unremarkable features behind my black framed glasses. She's too pretty. The family background matches, but you... I raised my hands in surrender, speaking righteously. A toad that doesn't want to eat swan meat isn't a good toad. But then again, she's still young and hasn't seen much of the world. This is your chance. My dad patted my shoulder. To improve the gene pool for the next generation, you need to work hard. All your dad can do is improve the family fortune. Thinking of my mom's ordinary face. Silence. That night, I memorized everything about Vivian that I had paid a high price to uncover. For a straight-A student like me, memorizing something backwards after 2 reads is basic. The next morning, for the first time ever, I didn't wait for Vanessa to walk to school. Checking the security feed, I saw Vanessa frowning outside my gate. She spoke impatiently into the Ring doorbell. "Jared, I'll give you 3 minutes. If you aren't ready, don't bother coming out." Speechless, I ignored her. Now that the engagement was off, our butler and housekeeper didn't have to be nice to her either. Young Master Jared has already left. Vanessa's face instantly turned dark. She threw the breakfast she had brought for Caleb onto the ground. The milk bottle shattered with a bang, spilling milk everywhere. Why didn't I think it was for me? Because she never brought me anything. I was always the one bringing her stuff. Our housekeeper was furious. I just swept there. "What is wrong with you? You dare talk to me like that? Believe it or not, I'll have Jared fire you." The housekeeper rolled her eyes. "The engagement is void. The partnership between the Wilson and White families is terminated. You should leave. Jared is just throwing a tantrum. I'll smooth it over and he'll be fine. The engagement will never be void." Vanessa stormed off with a dark face. Vanessa and I were desk mates. When I got to school, Caleb was sitting in my seat. My books had been dumped on the teacher's podium. Caleb smiled at me. "Jared, I want to sit with Vanessa. We're in the honeymoon phase. Didn't Godfather say you should yield to me? Be a brother and let Vanessa and me have our own little world. You don't want people calling you a third wheel, right?" It seemed he didn't know yet that my dad had already cut his funding. I planned to blow up and curse him out. But then, out of the corner of my eye, I saw Vivian sitting behind them. The seat next to her had been empty for years. My inner drama queen woke up. Instant method acting. Action. My eyes turned red, and I stood there frozen, looking helpless. Vivian walked in, picked up my books from the podium, and said to me, "Jared, come here." I followed behind her, watching as she placed my books on the desk next to hers. My heart immediately sped up. It was like a scene from a manga coming to life. So cool. I shouldn't have watched so much anime. My brain is a little rotted now. Fighting back my shyness, I choked out, "Prez, thank you. I didn't eat breakfast. If you really want to thank me, bring me something when you go to the cafeteria. I stayed up late doing practice exams. I'm sleepy. I want to catch some Z's." So she wasn't the ice queen type, she was the jealous type. She saw that I used to bring Vanessa breakfast every morning and wanted the same treatment. I nodded profusely. Okay. I would treat everyone equally. No, considering she was significantly better looking than Vanessa, I would give her preferential treatment. At the cafeteria, I realized I hadn't asked Vivian what she wanted. I found her contact info in the class group chat and added her. I added a note. "Prez, what do you want to eat?" Then I ate my own breakfast while waiting for her to accept the request. I was a genius. This was a perfect, non-awkward excuse to get her number. Vivian quickly accepted and replied. I looked at the list, confused. Why were these all things Vanessa hated? Specifically, Every single item was something Vanessa had strictly forbidden me from buying her, and wouldn't let me eat either. Although I ignored her and ate whatever I wanted anyway. On the way back from buying breakfast for Vivian, I ran into Vanessa's best friend, the one from the video who called me a simp. She was incredibly enthusiastic, greeting me with a big grin. "Jared, is that for Vanessa?" She took out her phone, snapped a quick photo, and sent it to their group chat. I didn't need to guess to know how they were mocking me, but I didn't plan to stop her. I needed cannon fodder like them to act as a catalyst, to ignite Vivian's protective instincts and make her take the initiative. I smiled back at the girl and walked away. At the classroom door, Vanessa had arrived and was laughing and chatting with Caleb in her seat. She looked to be in a great mood, completely different from the person I saw on the security camera leaving my house. Seeing me, she leaned back in her chair and gave me a cocky smile. "You bought it? Perfect, I was getting hungry." Vivian, who had been napping on her desk, sat up. Her seat was diagonally behind Vanessa. I bit my lip, deliberately avoiding Vanessa's gaze, looking down and walking silently. As I passed Vanessa, she reached out to take the breakfast from my hand. I suddenly took a large step past her and sat down next to Vivian. I placed the breakfast on her desk and took a warm carton of milk from my pocket. "Eat it while it's hot. I really like this stuff too. We have the same taste, Prez." Vivian smiled. Vanessa froze, her smile stiffening on her lips. The amused expressions on her trashy friends' faces also froze. "Jared, that wasn't for Vanessa?" I spoke quietly but firmly. "She has a boyfriend. Why would I buy it for her? Besides, the engagement is off. We cut ties a long time ago. This was a prep school for the elite. Aside from those sent abroad by their families, all the second-generation rich kids in our circle were here. Some were low-key, some were loud. But everyone knew about the merger between the Wilson and White families." As my voice fell, I saw the corner of Vivian's mouth curve up in amusement. Vanessa's face, however, was terrifyingly dark. She glared at me coldly. "Jared, don't regret this. I don't need a disloyal dog. Even if you come back begging, we're done." I cursed back. "You're the dog. A dog in heat humping everything in sight." I was usually so quiet that my good boy image was deeply ingrained. This was the first time anyone had heard me swear. Actually, when I played video games at home, 10 out of 10 sentences were profanity. I had a filthy mouth. Feeling everyone's eyes on me, my face felt hot. This was a public space, after all. I buried my head in my arms on the desk. Beside me, I heard Vivian's crisp laughter. "Look at you, Jared. Learning how to swear." She was close to me, her warm breath tickling me. My ears itched, and my heart trembled. I suppressed the urge to pull Vivian into a hug. Restraint. I needed restraint. Vanessa called me stiff because I refused to even hold hands. Is it possible that I refused because her hands were ugly and sweaty? I might be a guy, but I have hygiene standards. Vivian's hands were different. Pale, slender, elegant joints, sinful thoughts. After evening study hall, as I packed my bag, I looked at Vivian awkwardly, hesitating. She capped her pen, her fingers slightly bent. I started overthinking again. This woman is a witch. "Is there something I can help you with, Jared?" Such a standard goddess voice. I used to have to pay money on apps to hear voices like that. Now I was getting it for free. Why was I letting my imagination run wild again? It was all her fault for seducing me. I forced myself to act normal. "My driver has something to do tonight and can't make it." What a clumsy excuse. We're billionaires who only has one driver? There was a knowing smile in her eyes, but she didn't expose me. "Okay, let's go. It's on the way." It wasn't on the way at all. We both knew it, but I didn't expose her either. The talking stage.
So sour, so shy, so awesome.
I wanted to scream. I was hooked. The ride was silent. Vivian and I looked at our own practice exams. Time passed quickly. Tomorrow was the start of finals. When we arrived at my gate and I was about to get out, Vivian put down her papers and took off her silver-rimmed glasses. "Jared, where do you want to go for college?" "The one close to home, probably." There was only one top-tier university close to home. Vivian smiled. Me too. Good luck tomorrow. I hope recent events won't affect your performance. I couldn't help but be a little arrogant. Of course not. I'm the perpetual first place. I know, because I am too. She smiled, pleased with herself. So beautiful. I hummed a song and trotted happily toward my house, only to be startled by Vanessa waiting outside the gate. She looked terrible. If the driver couldn't come, why didn't you call me? You didn't pick up when I called. Why trouble an outsider? She emphasized the word outsider. In the beginning, because it was on the way, I used to ride home in Vanessa's car. Later, Caleb joined us. There was an extra person in the car. I have a bad temper.
I'm petty.
I've hated third-wheeling since I was a kid. Vanessa needed someone to worship her, and Caleb would lower himself to stroke her ego. Gradually, my voice disappeared from the car conversations. It was all their laughter. After that, I had my driver pick me up every day. Vanessa called me petty, saying I did it deliberately to make Caleb look bad. I asked her,
I'm uncomfortable.
I don't like it. Can't you see that? Her laugh made me sick. Jealous? Jared, you're a rich heir. Why do you always hold a grudge against Caleb? He has nothing. You were born with everything. Why can't you just let him have this? No wonder your dad says you can't tolerate people. You need to learn to share. Share? A father? A fiancé? Are these things to be shared? Sorry, I couldn't be that generous. Caleb's situation wasn't my fault, and everything I had wasn't gained by hurting or bullying him. I had no obligation to share with him. We parted on bad terms that time, and Vanessa ignored me for months. This time, she couldn't even last a day. Truly, people act cheap, especially her. To me, you're the outsider now. Vanessa, do you just like eating from the bowl while looking at the pot? When you were with me, you were shady with Caleb. Now that you're with Caleb, you're haunting me? Are you an octopus? With all those legs to stand on two boats? Also, you couldn't get through because I blocked you. Understand? I didn't understand. I insulted her, yet she looked happier. How could someone be more twisted than me? Jared, I knew you were jealous. Unblock me, quick. I'll pick you up for the exam tomorrow morning. I won't bring Caleb, okay? Her tone was so gentle I got goosebumps. Christ, are you an idiot? Do you not understand English? I'm allergic to stupidity, lady. No wonder you're always at the bottom of the class. It's not just math you can't even understand human speech. You're hopeless. Tell your mom to ship you overseas. If your family didn't have money, you wouldn't find a single college in this country that would take you. She scoffed, resting her head on her arm against the wall. Curse all you want. Fighting is affection. Scolding is love. I know you're angry. Didn't we agree? Once Caleb's depression is cured, we'll get back together. I couldn't take it anymore. I sneered, you make me sick, and slammed the gate shut. I had nightmares all night. Vanessa was disgusting. The next morning, I got up half an hour early just to avoid running into her. I seriously suspected she was sent by Caleb to mess with my exam mindset. When Vanessa arrived at the classroom, I was exchanging solution strategies with Vivian. She looked at me, barely suppressing her rage. I didn't even glance at her. Before we left, the homeroom teacher came in. After going over exam rules, he spoke to Caleb. You need to go pay the fees for the last few mock exams later. Caleb froze in shock, glanced at me, and whispered to the teacher, but aren't those fees waived for me? The teacher adjusted his glasses. The donor who sponsored you called the school to terminate your funding. From now on, you are responsible for all your university expenses. You will not be receiving a monthly living stipend anymore. Caleb's face went sheet white. Feeling the eyes of the class on him, he turned bright red. The teacher asked bluntly, I'm actually curious. What did you do? That donor covers financial aid for the entire school. High school, college, grad school, as long as you study, he pays. Caleb, if he stops funding all the scholarship students because of you, the teacher's face was grim. I don't want to see that outcome. Watch yourself. Clearly, the teacher knew the reason. That's why he said it in front of everyone, leaving him no face. Because my dad's sponsorship had conditions. There was a contract signed back then. Caleb broke my dad's rule, so things got ugly. Caleb glared at me viciously. Jared, this was your plan. Deliberately messing with my head right before finals. I won't let you win. I'm going to ace this. Good luck. He choked on his words. I ignored the drama and focused on my papers. After the morning session, I went to the restroom to wash my face. When I came out, I met Vanessa's stern, disappointed gaze. Jared, you've disappointed me. Who asked you to have expectations? I walked past her, but she grabbed my arm. She pulled me into an empty classroom and interrogated me. Why did you tell your dad about us? Your dad cut off Caleb's funding. The money is a small thing, but do you know how humiliating that is? How can you be so venomous? If money is a small thing, have the White family sponsor him. Do you dare ask your mom? There was a knock at the door. Vivian pushed it open and looked at me. Jared, the teacher is calling you. I stomped on Vanessa's foot. She hissed in pain. I ran out and left with Vivian. What does the teacher want? Elite. I paused, unable to stop myself from smiling and leaning closer to her. Good students lie too? Yeah. She seemed visibly unhappy. I thought maybe she messed up her essay. We walked in silence until we were almost there. Suddenly, she spoke. Jared, she's no good. Can you stop liking her? My body shook. My palms suddenly tingled, itching and aching, and my throat went dry. I can't. I heard my own voice trembling slightly. She finally looked happy. On the afternoon the exams ended, Caleb told me to wait for him. Since getting together with Vanessa, Caleb mostly stayed at the apartment Vanessa had near the school. The excuse he gave my dad was that living at school made it easier to study. Today, for some reason, he demanded to get in my car and go home with me. Of course, I refused, and I waited until he trotted up to the car door before telling the driver to drive off. He clenched his fists in rage, squatting on the ground, eyes red. Vanessa arrived quickly, comforted him for a moment. I saw her mouth a curse word, and then started making calls. Probably to me, but she couldn't get through. She smashed her phone in anger. Of course she couldn't get through. I had blacklisted every contact method for both of them. Vanessa, furious, dragged a red-eyed Caleb to my house to find me. My dad unceremoniously blocked them outside. My dad called Vanessa's mom and told her to come collect her trash. Caleb is, to put it nicely, my godson. In reality, he's just a student I sponsor. Our families were discussing a merger, and your daughter rejected my biological son for him. Director White, do I not have dignity? Does the Wilson family not have dignity? Now your daughter is making a scene at my gate with that kid. Is she trying to let the whole circle see my family as a joke? Vanessa's mother apologized profusely, because after all, her daughter was in the wrong. When Vanessa's mom arrived, she slapped Vanessa across the face. Looking at the sobbing Caleb, her mom screamed, "Shameless trash. If you hadn't seduced my daughter, would she be like this? If you want to stay alive in this city, stay the hell away from her." Caleb trembled in fear. Vanessa stepped in front of him. "Mom, I initiated the breakup. Don't blame Caleb. Jared is just petty. He's making a huge scene out of nothing, but he's always listened to me. I'll just sweet-talk him and he'll be fine. Don't get involved." Her mom, furious, slapped her again. "You're still dreaming? His dad called me to cancel the engagement. The video the Wilson family released went viral. Do you know how much money I spent to scrub it? 50 million. Now all the relatives know. You've completely humiliated me. Get back home now." Vanessa turned pale, looking confused. "What video?" Her mom took out her phone and showed her. It was the video Caleb's friend had sent me. Vanessa was enraged. "Who filmed this? How did Jared get this video?" The party had been at her villa, attended only by her girlfriends. I shouldn't have had any way of knowing. Caleb looked panicked. Things were spiraling out of his control. He grabbed her sleeve with red eyes, refusing to let go, but Vanessa's mom shoved him to the ground. Vanessa tried to help him up. Her mom roared, "Try it and I'll cut you off completely. Get out." Vanessa believed her. Her mom had illegitimate children besides her, and the illegitimate son had much better grades than she did. Vanessa had no choice but to leave with her mom unwillingly. Before leaving, she shouted at my window, "Jared, stop being angry. I don't blame you for the video. Take good care of Caleb, and I'll consider it your penance." Forget me, even my dad laughed out of anger. Pure brain damage. My dad muttered, "How did I never notice she was this psychotic before? She used to be so polite to you." I offered a deadpan review. She acted well. This is probably the real her. Seeing no one was going to help him, Caleb sobbed and crawled up from the ground. He tried to enter my house, but the butler stopped him. My dad spoke through the intercom, letting him in. As soon as Caleb came in, he stood before my dad with bloodshot eyes, choking back tears. "Godfather, it's not what you think." My dad sneered. "Not what?" My dad opened the video, pointing to the part where he was snuggling intimately in Vanessa's arms. "Is this video fake?" The blood drained from Caleb's face. With the video right there, he couldn't argue. My dad tossed the phone aside and spoke coldly. "Go upstairs, pack your things, and leave immediately. Our relationship ends here." Caleb finally panicked for real. My dad was a self-made man. Because he had no money for school as a kid, now that he was successful, he had a natural soft spot for poor students with good grades. All the scholarship students at my school were funded by my dad. One of the conditions for my dad's sponsorship was that the students were not allowed to date during the high school years he funded. Among them, Caleb was the poorest. But he had sought us out himself. His scores actually weren't high enough for our school. His cousin had better grades, attended our school, and had been sponsored by my dad for years. When Caleb heard about it, he begged his cousin to bring him. He knelt and begged my dad, even showing him the bruises from his father's beatings. A gambling, abusive dad, a sick mom, and a delinquent twin brother. In my dad's words, a catastrophic start. Truly doomed. It was too pitiful not to save him. Even though I was reluctant, my dad took him in to live with us. He had a sweet mouth, knew how to say the right things better than I did, and always made my dad happy. But when I was unhappy, my dad would constantly tell me to be the bigger person. I cried about it several times, and my dad became dissatisfied with me. He thought I was ungrateful. I was born into luxury. Why couldn't I tolerate a lowly Caleb? Even though I had nothing to do with his misfortune. Even though he was so pitiful. Sensing my dad's obvious bias, Caleb pushed his luck. He was one way in front of me and another in front of my dad. He could lower himself, but I couldn't. Not that I didn't want to, I just really didn't know how. I felt wrong to death inside, but as soon as I opened my mouth, stubborn, angry words came out, as if saying something soft would kill me. I could be nice to others, but the moment someone I cared about wronged me, my mouth turned into a lethal weapon. I really need a therapist. When my dad was angry, he'd say I was annoying and nothing like Caleb. My temper got even worse. I started hating my own state of mind. Whenever my dad mentioned Caleb, I exploded. I became extremely sensitive. I started hating this dynamic. I didn't want to go home. The three of us were stuck in a loop. Over 2 years, I was slowly ready to give up on this family and move into the dorms. But then, Caleb set his sights on my fiancée, Vanessa. Did he really like Vanessa? Not necessarily. He just liked taking things from me. He enjoyed it when my dad scolded me to defend him. He enjoyed it when Vanessa abandoned me for him. In those moments, he became the most important person to the two people I cared about most. So what if I was rich? So what if I had good grades? I was still his defeated opponent. He looked down on me with that arrogance. But finally, he tripped over his own hubris. Although I was sad, honestly, I was also dying of laughter. It was tragic but hilarious. My enemy dug his own grave. There was nothing I could do. My dad viewed poor students with good grades through a filter of pity. But the thing he hated most was scholarship students dating when they should be studying. He was extreme about it. He felt poor students didn't have the luxury to date. In his philosophy of struggle, high school was the only chance for a poor kid to change their destiny. How could they date? That was the only condition for his funding. Caleb thought my dad cared about his grades and told him not to date because he cared about him more than me. Sorry, buddy. As I got older, I realized the truth. My dad just thought that besides studying, Caleb had no other path. But I was different. I was his biological son. Even if we fought, I was his only son. Before I was even born, my dad had paved the road for me. So even if my grades sucked, it didn't matter. But Caleb? He couldn't afford to slip. Godfather, listen to me. I know what I did was wrong. Give me one more chance, please? I love Vanessa, and Vanessa loves me. Vanessa said we'll get engaged next month. I'm also your son. Vanessa will still be your daughter-in-law. Caleb's eyes reddened instantly, and he knelt to beg. My dad, frustrated beyond belief, practically roared at the butler to pack Caleb's things. He pointed a shaking finger at Caleb's face. You are insane. Do you know what the White family does? Do you know how much they are worth? Let me tell you, Caleb, high school is over. You're going to college. Your grades aren't top tier, but you can get into a decent university. Study hard. When you graduate, you can live a life completely different from your past. Truly change your fate by relying on yourself. Vanessa is a spoiled brat with no say in the White family. You think you can use a rich second-generation kid to jump the gate? You're dreaming. Relying on anyone is worse than relying on yourself. Even if Jared and Vanessa break off the engagement, Vanessa's future husband will only be the son of another entrepreneur. He will absolutely not be the son of a gambler. The White family cannot afford that embarrassment. If you don't want to wake up one day and find yourself dead, I advise you to cut ties with Vanessa immediately. Wait until the day you are so excellent that the White family can ignore your background. Then come back and say what you said today. Caleb lowered his head, biting his lip. Suddenly, he smiled mockingly and stood up. In the end, you're still biased toward your own son. Saying it's for my own good, hoping I do well, it's all lies. The moment you saw Vanessa chose me over your son, you panicked. You want to drive me out of the city so your son can get back with Vanessa, right? Keep dreaming. Vanessa looks down on a pampered prince like your son. She said she only loves me. Mr. Wilson, if you won't sponsor me, then don't. I will marry Vanessa in the future. The money you sponsored me with isn't even worth as much as one watch Vanessa bought me. I really don't care about it. I won't leave the city. I'm applying to schools right here. From then until the exam results came out, I didn't see Vanessa. I heard she was grounded by her family. Vanessa found the person who sent the video, but Caleb's friend was so scared he admitted he did it on Caleb's orders.
To ito.
Caleb threatened suicide, but this time Vanessa didn't soften. Her mom took people to reclaim the apartment near the school, and Caleb was kicked to the curb. After the results came out, it was time for the graduation parties. Vivian and I were separated by 2 points. I was 2 points higher. Vivian's mother came to visit, hinting discreetly, "Why don't we hold the graduation party together?" My parents exchanged a look and smiled. Sounds good. We were thinking the same thing. The 2 kids have been tied for first place for years. What a great destiny. Vivian's mother nodded with a smile. Yes, they grew up in the blink of an eye. The relationship between our 2 families became close from then on. Caleb didn't let himself down. He scored well enough to get into the same university as me. I was a little annoyed. College, and he was still around. Vivian comforted me. The university is huge, and our majors are different. The probability of seeing him is tiny. I felt a bit better. True, Vanessa failed. She couldn't get into any decent university in the city. She could only go abroad. The day Vanessa left for overseas, she came to find me. She looked haggard. Everyone in our circle knew about the situation between my family and the Booths. She seemed unwilling to accept it. You couldn't wait even a moment. Could you? Or were you with her all along? But Vanessa, why should I wait for you? Our backgrounds are equal. I don't need to extract anything from you. But you never understood what respect means. She looked sad. You weren't like this before, Jared. You used to be so good, so obedient. No matter what I did, you stood by my side. When did you become like this? I treated her that way, not because I loved her so much, but because, deep down, I wanted her to treat me the same way. I believed that to receive, you must first give. So I kept giving, waiting for the same treatment in return. But she taught me a lesson. Throwing a meat bun at a dog is a waste, it never comes back. She was simply a bad person. She accepted people's sacrifices with peace of mind and gave absolutely nothing back. I'm not an idiot. Of course I cut my losses and ran. I won't comment on those who sacrifice selflessly. But I wasn't willing to do that. I wanted the return that belonged to me. It's over. Vivian and I are official. She asked me out yesterday. And you said yes?
Yeah.
Why wouldn't I? Should I leave a gourmet meal untouched and cling to a bowl of rotten rice? I'm not stupid, Vanessa. Her eyes reddened. I can change. In the future, I'll show you a different me. Jared, I was a jerk before. I was tricked by Caleb too. He played the victim and lied to me. Before he came along, I wasn't like that. You know that. Blaming others again. You're never wrong, it's always someone else. Wake up. Don't be so self-centered. After getting together with Vivian, I was well fed. Maybe too happy. My face got rounder from all the good food. Vivian wasn't wrong. The university was huge, and the chance of running into Caleb was slim. I almost never saw him, unless he actively looked for me. Today was my dad's birthday. Vivian and I went home together. As we exited the campus gate, we ran into Caleb. He held out a gift box to me. I bought this with money from my work-study job. I can't get into your gated community. Can you give this to Godfather for me? Jared, I know I was wrong. I just want to focus on college now. I didn't take his gift. You just want my dad to sponsor you again. Don't even think about it. I won't give you another chance to get close to him. His face went pale, and he glared at me with hatred. If you hadn't posted that video online, my reputation wouldn't be ruined. I got into such a good school, plenty of donors would have been willing to sponsor me. It's all because of you that I'm in this state. You and your father have to take responsibility for me. Vivian let out a cold laugh. Didn't you send that video to Jared yourself using a fake account? You dug your own grave. Who else can you blame? After that, Caleb never appeared in front of me again. I knew Vivian did something, but I was happy to pretend I didn't know. In the blink of an eye, we graduated from college. Our families picked a date and we prepared for the wedding. On the day of the wedding, a call from an unknown number came to my phone. Vivian declined it. Babe, there's been a lot of spam calls lately. You're about to make toasts to the guests, and you have nowhere to put your phone in that suit. I'll hold it for you. Okay. Later, I found out it was Vanessa calling. Vanessa heard I was marrying Vivian and rushed back from abroad. But Vivian had people block her at the airport. Desperate, she borrowed someone else's phone to frantically call and text me. All declined by Vivian. Vanessa sent long paragraphs of apologies, trying to win me back. Vivian, pretending to be me, replied with just one sentence. Stop texting. My wife will get angry. Okay, I have to go comfort my wife now. She really is a drama queen too.